There's a reason he does that. Find out why this Army veteran takes Independence Day celebration into his own hands.
You're watching your local news leader. This is WCIA 3 News at 10.
It all begins with folks telling you what you can't do, but didn't ask you what you're able to do once given the opportunity.
He broke racial barriers during World War II. Now, one of the surviving members of the Tuskegee Airmen is celebrating Independence Day right here in Champaign. Good evening. I'm Jennifer Jensen. Retired Colonel Charles McGee, who attended U of I before serving in World War II, was recognized in Champaign County's Freedom Celebration this morning. WCIA 3's Jen Lask is here now. Jen, you spoke to him about the importance of teaching future generations American history.
Jennifer, Colonel McGee tells me it's important to learn from the past, and one of the most important lessons he said he's learned is to never let anyone say no.
Once I got my first flight, I knew I'd made the right decision because I was hooked.
At the age of 99, Colonel Charles McGee is one of the last surviving members of the All-African American Tuskegee Airmen. Their mission abroad? To defeat Nazi Germany. Their mission at home? To defeat racism in the armed forces, especially this notion.
We were physically qualified if America got involved in another war, but mentally and morally inferior to the white man. Therefore, we couldn't do anything technical like maintain and fly an aircraft.
In World War II, McGee's flight squadron would soar past those racial barriers, barely losing any bombers to enemy fire. McGee himself ultimately logging more than 6,000 hours flying, with more than 1,100 of those in combat. His courage has inspired many, including his family.
I know people say everyone's hero is their father, and this can be more true.
His youngest daughter, Yvonne, calls her dad one of the most humble people she knows.
We didn't even know his special history growing up. They didn't really organize to become the Tuskegee Airmen until 1972, when they realized that this history is going to get lost because nobody else is telling it.
The airmen blazed a path into history books.
It's important to know where you're coming from, what you've been. A lot of it you don't need to repeat, but you need to be aware of it.
Had they not been as successful as they were, this whole country would be different.
Colonel McGee, who now lives in Maryland, has completed more than 400 combat missions in World War II, the Korean War, and Vietnam. Just yesterday, U.S. Senator Chris Van Hollen introduced legislation to authorize McGee's honorary promotion to Brigadier General.
And definitely a man to be honored. Thank you for that. President Trump hosted a 4th of July salute to America tonight, putting a spotlight on the military. He's now the first president in nearly 70 years to give a speech at the National Mall on the 4th. He called for military tanks to sit beside the Lincoln Memorial and military flyovers as well. Some say it's a way to show support for the military. WCIA 3 asked people in Champaign what they thought and got mixed reactions.
If it's military supported, I will agree with that, but if it's for other reasons, then we need to put money elsewhere.
If he's going to take a national holiday and turn it into more or less a campaign rally for himself, I don't really support that, especially spending taxpayer money.
President Trump has tweeted the cost for this is, quote, very little compared to what it's worth, end quote. But we don't know yet how much that event total was. For many, the 4th of July is celebrated by sending loud, bright lights into the sky. But for veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, the holiday could mean panic attacks and flashbacks. WCIA 3's Miranda Meister has the story of a veteran.
Roman candles, bottle rockets, and even sparklers all have the ability to send combat veterans right back to their time at war. Flashing lights, loud booms, and the smell of explosives. All things combat veterans expect to leave overseas. That is, until July rolls around.
It's everything. These memories are stored in a way that has all those sensations: vision, smell, sound.
When you're at war, you don't know what's coming. You're walking in the next minute, boom, something blows up in front of you or beside you.
It's a feeling Army veteran Richard Simonton knows all too well.
Because I can't do the booms, the flashes. If I know they're coming, I'm all right. But if I don't know they're coming, I get nervous, and sometimes I'll jump under a chair, flip something over, and I won't even realize I'm doing it.
Simonton says servicemen and women are taught be prepared for the unexpected and respond.
They train you to react without thinking, to react. So when that boom goes off, you react.
But after 5 years of service, he's had a hard time enjoying his favorite time of year. That is, until he put the show in his own hands.
I live out in the country, so I don't have, neighbors that set off fireworks. I don't have, most of my neighbors come to my house, and that's just the easiest way to do it.
It's a strategy many with PTSD use.
For some veterans, if they are setting themselves off themselves, it kind of gives them a sense of control.
It might be one person's problem, but it's something everyone can help.
If they know they have a veteran neighbor, they should go and explain, hey, I'm going to let off fireworks this day at this time. So that way he knows at least there's something coming.
While some with PTSD stay away from large firework displays, others decide to go. But professionals suggest having an exit plan in place just in case it's too much to handle.
That was Miranda Meister reporting. The Department of Veteran Affairs says around 20 out of every 100 veterans who served in Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom suffer from PTSD every year. Dozens lined up at the end of the Freedom Celebration Parade Thursday, but they weren't just there for the floats. Many came for Sergeant Andy Charles, who retired after 30 years at the Urbana Police Department. At the end of the parade, Charles got out of his cruiser so he could greet the people he served for so long, and he says it's been an honor to do that.
Just thank you to the citizens of Urbana. It was wonderful to be here, and I owe them a great debt of gratitude for allowing me to do this for 30 years.
His impact will continue to be felt in the community as Urbana Police Chief Brian Serafin and Champaign Police Chief Anthony Cobb both got their start training under Charles. The sky above the Capitol, the state's capital, lit up tonight for a 4th of July celebration. The Springfield Jaycees put on a firework event outside of the governor's mansion. A large crowd showed up with people setting out blankets on the Capitol lawn as early as 5 in the afternoon. The fireworks went off right in front of the Capitol.
Absolutely, it's going to be worthy of the capital of Illinois. So we have the Capitol building as our backdrop for the fireworks, so we're absolutely going to have a fantastic show. We've been working with this contract, with a firework vendor for at least 7 years now, and every year they put on an epic performance, and I expect nothing less than greatness for the 4th of July today.
Earlier in the night, people got food from local vendors and listened to live music. When we talk about fireworks safety, we think of the ones that light up the whole sky, but sparklers can be just as dangerous as any other kind. As we saw after a huge apartment fire back in 2016, the Town Center apartments in Champaign caught fire after a couple kids were playing with sparklers. No one was hurt, but the families, and all 10 of them lived there, had to move, and the building was torn down. This is just one example where sparklers have put people in dangerous situations. The Champaign Fire Department wants to warn users of the risks.
Unfortunately, a lot of the times when the kids are using the sparklers, it's when they're done. If they don't get the injury while it's happening, it's what to do when they think it's out. So we still have that hot object. What do you do with it?
The fire department says the best way to stay safe is to leave the fireworks to the professionals. But if you do let kids play with sparklers, make sure an adult is always watching and have water near to put them out after they burn. Coming up after the break, getting on a plane can be a struggle for disabled veterans.
I figure if you've been wounded in the defense of this country, you probably should be given a little bit of a break.
We'll tell you how one senator is creating a bill to help make it easier for them.
Enjoy store-wide savings now during Carter's Hot Summer Sales Event. Special savings on every item, plus free delivery, free financing, and free layaway. The Hot Summer Sales Event going on now at Carter's Furniture, Urbana.
Amazing is getting away.
To a different place and pace.
To see the world from a different view.
Realizing the guys you're tasting whiskey with are the guys who make it.
It's doing the downward dog with goats.
Telling your kids you stayed a couple nights in jail.
Amazing isn't just a place you take yourself. It's where that place takes you. Find yours at enjoyillinois.com.
This is Super Dealer Gary Knight. Our third annual Super Sale 10 event is going on right now. Super savings on a super selection of new Hondas and Hyundais.
Our huge inventory of pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs is Super Sale blowout price. With our super low financing rates, we'll have you in and out faster than a speeding bullet.
Our third annual Super Sale 10 event is going on right now. Carmack Car Capital in Danville, where you always get a
Super Deal!
Home. It's where families gather. Life's triumphs and challenges are shared, and lasting memories are made. Busey's here to help you achieve your dream of owning a home. Whether you're just starting out or upgrading to your dream home, Busey will guide you every step of the way, because we know there's no place like home. Busey, your dream, our promise.
Local news to know. Accurate forecast with weather on the threes. Everything you need to start your day. WCIA 3, The Morning Show from 5 to 7.
Enjoy store-wide savings now during Carter's Hot Summer Sales Event. Special savings on every item, plus free delivery, free financing, and free layaway. The Hot Summer Sales Event going on now at Carter's Furniture, Urbana.
Tomorrow on CI Living, we are on the go from Sholem Aquatic Center.
We learned if you try to go down the water slide in a dry t-shirt, you get stuck. 3 at 4.
Share your morning with us and you could win. Take a photo of your morning, post it to WCIA.com, and it could be seen right here on the 9 a.m. morning show. Plus, every Friday, 3 lucky winners are going to win a mug from us at WCIA and Carriage Crossing.
Morning Mug Club, sponsored by Carriage Crossing. WCIA 3 News is brought to you by Hurlburt Siding and Windows. Live from your local news leader, Jessica Coons, Paul Cicchini, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Kevin Lighty and Brett Behrens on sports. You're watching WCIA 3 News at 10.
Senator Tammy Duckworth is a Purple Heart recipient who lost both her legs in combat. She personally understands the struggle disabled combat veterans have returning from the battlefield. Washington correspondent Raquel Martin has more on how Duckworth's bill would waive TSA pre-check fees for all disabled veterans, making air travel a smoother process.
I got a pretty thorough pat down. I was very uncomfortable. I was out in public.
I've been taken into a separate room to strip so that they can see my devices.
It got to a point where I had to file a complaint.
When it comes to passing airport security, disabled veterans like Sherman Gillums and even U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth have their share of horror stories.
It's a full pat down every single time. And for a while, they were x-raying our limbs.
Duckworth says thankfully the days of routine x-rays are over. But she said it's time to make getting through the airport even easier for disabled veterans.
I figure if you've been wounded in the defense of this country, you probably should be given a little bit of a break.
She's pushing a bill to waive the cost of TSA pre-check for disabled veterans.
I think that it's the right thing to do. Many of our veterans are, unemployed, especially our disabled veterans, and they need a little bit of a help.
TSA pre-checks normally cost $85 for a 5-year plan. It allows someone to speed through security. Now, under Duckworth's plan, roughly 300,000 veterans would be able to enjoy the hassle-free benefit.
We want those men and women to get out of their houses, to see the world, if that's their desire, and the world itself to be more accommodating.
Marine veteran Sherman Gillums was paralyzed 17 years ago during a training exercise. He says free pre-check will open doors for veterans.
It's not a lot to ask to spend a little more on the people who suffered loss at the hands of defending freedom.
Duckworth says the plan has bipartisan support and is hoping it'll pass Congress by the end of the year. In Washington, Raquel Martin.
Definitely a worthy cause. All right, Kevin, what do you have for us in weather?
Well, it turned out to be a pretty nice night. Things look pretty good. Here's what I want to do, because I want to leave some time to be able to do this. We've still got some storms to tell you about. It's going to get a little bit cooler, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear off these words. I know it looks like a black screen, but I'm going to do a little bit of a time lapse. And this is from our Champaign Tower cam, and you'll see the sun setting, and then you'll start to see on the lower part of the horizon all of the fireworks starting to go off across the area tonight. You can see the moon starting to set there as well. We'll come back, talk about how the rest of the weekend shapes up coming up after the break.
Share your morning with us and you could win. Take a photo of your morning, post it to WCIA.com, and it could be seen right here on the 9 a.m. morning show. Plus, every Friday, 3 lucky winners are going to win a mug from us at WCIA and Carriage Crossing.
Morning Mug Club, sponsored by Carriage Crossing.
You're not holding it by the legs, are you?
No, I'm not.
Gorilla Glue.
Of course.
Gorilla Glue is incredibly strong and versatile, even outdoors, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Want a relaxing pedicure?
Relaxing pedicure? My feet get so dry and cracked, I need serious relief. That's why I use O'Keeffe's for healthy feet. Guaranteed relief for extremely dry, cracked feet. Thanks to O'Keeffe's, I got my feet back.
Introducing the 49 in 49, only at Napleton's Auto Park of Urbana. That's a $49 oil change and tire rotation in 49 minutes. And if you don't have your keys in hand in 49 minutes, it's free. Whether you're a longtime customer or here for the first time, you're in great hands with Napleton. Stop in for the 49 in 49 today at Napleton's Auto Park of Urbana. Now open even later during the week. Schedule an appointment online at napletonsautopark.com.
Napleton, second to none since 1931.
Trust WCIA3 for reliable local news. Connect with WCIA3 throughout the day, from the morning show, the news at noon, to the news at 5, 6, and 10 at night. The most accurate weather forecast and consistent coverage of local sports and your Illini Nation. With a legacy of local news for over 65 years. Trust WCIA3, your local news leader. Now, Central Illinois' most accurate forecast with meteorologist Kevin Lighty.
Scattered showers and storms were out there across the area earlier, but those really fell apart. I will tell you this, there was one area that it looked a little dicey whether or not they'd get the fireworks in. That was up around the Watseka area. But from what I could tell, they maybe pushed them back a little bit and were able to get those to go off here tonight. But it looked a little dicey there for a period of time, but you can see those showers eventually kind of cleared the area there by around 9:30 and pushed off into portions of Indiana. But the rest of us here looking pretty good as we go throughout tonight. Calm conditions, still a little warm out there with temperatures in the mid-70s, 76 Decatur and Champaign, 79 in Lincoln right now. Current heat index not bad, but these numbers go right back up to those 90s as we head into the day tomorrow. Also tomorrow, additional thunderstorms are expected to develop in a similar fashion. Basically in the afternoon, peak heating of the day, we'll see some storms develop. Closer to sunset, those storms begin to fade away. Now, we are anticipating that, hey, if you're grabbing that little ice cream out there, you know, 4th of July ice cream for the weekend, you might want to eat it pretty quick. Some decent melting as we're going to top out near 88 degrees tomorrow with temperatures across the area getting close to 90. Water tower weather, we go in the upper 80s again. Hot and humid conditions. Again, we continue to gather up our library of shots here from across central Illinois, so look for your town soon. Mansfield, again, forecasting a high in the upper 80s with, again, a couple of thunderstorms possible in the afternoon, but almost kind of like what we had today. Not widespread, and it doesn't last all day. The same thing plays out again on Saturday. Scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. The great news is the chances for rain start to go down. By Sunday, just an isolated chance, and then by Monday, we're looking better, and I think that we'll finally put together some dry weather for us. Muggy meter. That's the other thing. It has been really muggy lately. This number has been way high. We measure this by looking at the dew point number, and we kind of correlate it by giving you these words here on the left. And so when we're up in the 70s with that, that's really humid. It's almost oppressive. But look what happens as we head towards the end of the weekend. We're starting to go down on this, and by early next week, you know, we're down into the 60s for dew points, and that is a lot more comfortable. It's not as thick, and what I like to call the air you can wear when you go outside feels like you're just throwing on another layer of clothing out there because of just how warm and thick that air is. But that is going to change for us next week. 72 tonight. Again, a storm or two still possible, but most of us will stay dry. 88 tomorrow with additional storms to develop. Here's your 7-day forecast that shows, again, next week looking a lot better for us with high temperatures in the low and mid-80s. With, again, the chance for, you know, some nicer weather coming our way. Cooler, drier, and less of a chance of rain. Ooh, what do you think? What do you think?
You know,
what do you think?
I just have to say, I really like those water tower weather shots.
Well, yeah, those
They look really good.
Well, thanks.
So everybody, viewers out there, thank Kevin for his hard work, taking his drone out there, getting those shots.
It's going to take a while to get all the cities, though.
I know.
Right?
There's a lot of cities who have water towers.
We've only got 17, and I feel like that's taken forever to get.
You're well on your way. You'll get there. It was a close call for one Central Illinois mayor as she traveled back to town on this Independence Day. We'll tell you how she made her way across the ocean and into the state to make it back for the 4th of July celebration parade.
WCIA3 Storm Team gives you YourCast.
With YourCast, we take it a step further. Instead of just giving a general forecast for the area, we get specific, down to your city, down to your county, showing you exactly what to expect in your backyard.
Consistent, accurate, a forecast you can trust. From the WCIA3 Storm Team, meteorologists Kevin Lighty, Adam Claybon, and Jack Gerfin bring you the current conditions and the forecast for your town. YourCast from WCIA3, your local weather leader.
Diamond Diana. Diana Ross, live. July 11th, State Farm Center Theater in Champaign. Tickets are on sale now at statefarmcenter.com, 866-ILLINI-1, or the venue box office.
Nothing beats a great burger, so we invited folks to try a Culver's Butterburger plain with nothing on it. What I want you to taste is the beef that we use at Culver's. It's so good without condiments on it. Always fresh, never frozen. We get a nice sear on the bottom of the burger. It's a butter burger because we lightly butter the bun.
You can actually taste that it's fresh.
I like that, the texture, that little crispy layer.
I need one more of these to go. Welcome to Delicious.
In 1917, Father Flanagan saw what others wouldn't: neglected and homeless children. At Overlook Farm, he built them more than a home, but a town, Boys Town, a place where all boys were welcome, a place to call home. He raised a nation's concern. Today, 15,000 children in Illinois are waiting for permanent homes. Please consider adopting, because every child deserves a loving, caring home.
Celebrating volunteers for Central Illinois, we're Jackus Lab Construction.
People are winning with a Viewers Club. Sign up today to receive your Viewers Club card. It's absolutely free. Simply go to viewersclub.net, fill out the enrollment form, and we'll send you your personal Viewers Club card with your unique Viewers Club number. Then stay tuned. Your chance to win is every weekday on the WCIA3 Morning Show from 6 to 6:30. Sign up today to receive your Viewers Club card at viewersclub.net.
Autographs, a cap and gown, honors that you've earned, a future that looks bright because of everything you've learned. You're the best of the fastest. You're the best of the best of the fastest. Shine on, shine on. You're the best of the fastest. You're the best. You're the best of the fastest. Yeah.
Diamond Diana. Diana Ross, live. July 11th, State Farm Center Theater in Champaign. Tickets are on sale now at statefarmcenter.com, 866-ILLINI-1, or the venue box office.
The news continues here on WCIA3, your local news leader.
Dozens of people came together for the Champaign County Freedom Celebration today. Among them was Champaign's Mayor Deb Feinen, but it wasn't an easy road to bring her here. Feinen, along with 200 other mayors from across the county, were together in Honolulu this past weekend for the annual Mayor's Conference, but bad weather caused canceled flights. Feinen says she had to take multiple connecting flights and 20 hours of travel time to get here for the parade, but she says that it was that important for her to be there today.
I just think that it's important for the mayor to be here, for the community to understand that, you know, we believe this, our family and the community believe this is an important event. And again, it's also a remembrance celebration.
Mayor Feinen says she visited Pearl Harbor while she was in Hawaii, and that made today even more meaningful for her. She says it's important to note that her trip was not taxpayer funded. She paid for it all on her own dime. All right, so we talked about 4th of July celebrations, but athletes were very busy today.
Yes, and what better way to celebrate America's birthday than with America's sports? We got some highlights from MLB games around the area, plus there are some changes coming for men's basketball. All that and more coming up next in sports.
Sports on WCIA3 is brought to you by PNP Heating and Cooling.
A whole lot of truck for your buck. That's the Ford F-150 STX. Tons of payload and torque. Best-in-class towing. Loads of style with a bold appearance package. And smart tech, too. Now, all for one great price. F-150 STX. That's bang for your buck. Get F-150 STX with 0% financing for 72 months or lease one for $199. Hurry to get yours while supplies last.
Have a car? A title? You could get up to $4,000 with TitleMax. Go to TitleMax.com and enter your car year, make, and model. See how much you could get. Check out TitleMax.com for the most cash you need. Check out TitleMax.com and shop us for rates. Check out TitleMax.com. All credit types accepted. Find out why so many people say,
I got my title back with TitleMax.
I got my title back with TitleMax.
Get your title back with TitleMax.
Tomorrow on CI Living, we are on the go from Sholem Aquatic Center.
We learned if you try to go down the water slide in a dry t-shirt, you get stuck. Pay it forward.
People are winning with the Viewers Club. Sign up today at viewersclub.net. WCIA3 News is sponsored by Popejoy Roofing. From the official television station of Illini Sports, this is WCIA3 Sports and your Illini Nation.
Illinois men's basketball shot 34% from the free throw line this season, shooting 259 threes in total, but that number could go down next year. The NCAA is moving the three-point line back. It'll change to the international distance of about 22 feet, which is 2 feet back from the current three-point line. According to the committee that approved the change, this move will clear the lane for more drives to the rim and make three-point shots more challenging.
I think it creates better spacing. I think it's going to open the floor. I think it's going to provide interior play, more room to maneuver, maybe lengthen closeouts, lengthening tags on pick and rolls in certain situations. So I'm excited to see how it plays out, and could be very beneficial for us.
The Illini were 7th in the Big Ten for three-pointers this season. And across the pond at Wimbledon, former All-American Illini Rajiv Ram is set to compete in the mixed doubles main draw tomorrow. He teams up with fellow American Allison Risk, and in his 12th appearance at Wimbledon, Ram played with a straight set victory in men's double, and he is currently ranked 12th in doubles play. And for some 4th of July baseball action, we go to the MLB. The Cubs looking to take one against the Pirates in the last game of the series. Chris Bryant starts things off early when he hits a solo home run to get the Cubs onto the board in the first inning, and then shortly after in the next inning, it's Albert Amora with another home run for the Cubs to put them up 2-0. And on to the 5th, the bases loaded for the Cubs. Javier Baez hits a single into shallow center field, and 2 runs come across. The Cubs pull way ahead and win it 11-3. And now to Chicago. The White Sox sweeping the doubleheader yesterday against the Tigers, and Detroit leads by 1 in the bottom of the 4th. The White Sox take a lead off a 2-run homer, but the Lions quickly jump back into the lead and looking to add to it. Castellanos hits one deep to left field, but Eloy Jimenez just leaps at the wall and robs them of another run. And Jimenez does it again at the bottom of the 6th, crushes one deep to center field, a 2-run homer for him. But the Tigers keep a 4-run lead, and they go on to win it over the White Sox 11-5. And the Cardinals looking to take game 3 in the series after a win yesterday in Seattle. The Cards with 1 out at the top of the 3rd. Matt Wieners hits a fly ball out to deep left, and it's a solo homer to tie it up. And at the bottom of the 3rd, the Cardinals will get the out off a line drive, but 1 run will score, and the Mariners get back on top. The top of the 7th, Tommy Edman with a base hit into right, and and 2 runs will score. And just like that, the Cardinals take their first lead of the game, and they'll take the series with a 5-4 win this afternoon. And of course, for the 4th of July tradition on Coney Island, the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest featuring some of the world's top-ranked competitive eaters. It was Miki Sudo taking home her 6th title in a row on the women's side. And for the men, no one came close to Joey Chestnut. The defending champ devoured 71 hot dogs in 10 minutes, and you could say he was certainly a wiener today.
Gotta love a classic wiener competition.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they do it, honestly. They gotta starve themselves days beforehand.
I couldn't.
Me neither.
All right, we'll have a final check of your forecast coming up after this.
WCIA3 News is sponsored by Beltone, helping the world hear better.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World in Champaign, we'll beat any competitor's deal. We'll beat any sales deal, any advertised deal, any negotiated deal, any internet deal. I guarantee the best deal on your next appliance purchase.
Mary's trying to decide to get this Whirlpool built-in dishwasher from Dick Van Dyke or the big online dealer. Dick Van Dyke has fast repair service.
They don't.
A free 5 to 10 year protection plan.
They don't.
After delivery and warranty, we'll save her $256. She's buying from Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
The best summer adventures are spent in the great outdoors with the ones you love. At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, we have all the greatest gear for your perfect summer adventure. Right now, lawn games are on sale, $29.99. 20-pound bags of lumberjack grilling pellets are buy one, get one half off. And create backyard adventures on a freshly stained deck. Select Cabot exterior stains are 20% off. We've got what you need for your perfect summer adventure. That's genuine value from Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
If you have an electrical, plumbing, or heating and cooling problem, there's only one home service company you need. When you want 100% satisfaction and the finest service, make things easy. Call Edelman. Edelman Inc. is a proud sponsor of the Viewers Club.
This is Super Dealer Gary Knight. Our 3rd annual Super Sale 10 event is going on right now. Super savings on a super selection of new Hondas and Hyundais.
Our huge inventory of pre-owned cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs is Super Sale blowout price. With our super low financing rates, we'll have you in and out faster than a speeding bullet.
Our 3rd annual Super Sale 10 event is going on right now. Carback Car Capital in Danville, where you always get a
Super Deal!
The Viewers Club is on the morning show. Every weekday, you'll have a chance to win $100. Grab your coffee and watch for your Viewers Club card number between 6 and 6:30. If you see your number, claim your prize. Watch the WCIA3 morning show to win.
Tomorrow on CI Living, we are on the go from Sholem Aquatic Center.
We learned if you try to go down the water slide in a dry T-shirt, you get stuck. Ticket 4.
Do that.
Scattered thunderstorms across the area. Upper 80s for highs tomorrow. We'll see some more storms Saturday and into the day on Sunday. And then next week, looks a lot better.
Are you going to do something with that ball? Or? Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a good night.